Thousands of years ago, humanity cowered at the bottom of the world's hierarchy. Among beasts, spirits, and ancient entities, they were fragile and powerless. But everything changed with the rise of a single man. No matter how fierce the enemy, no matter how overwhelming the odds, a flick of his hand was enough to erase them.
Who dares step into our realm? A mere human?
The monstrous voices boomed.
A mere human?
The man's eyes gleamed as he stepped forward, unshaken by their presence.
I am the Warden of Balan, the Sword Against Ruin, the Ninefold Archmage, Kalen Draven.
The creature sneered.
Even after all this time, you mortals cling to empty titles. Titles? No, what drives me now is far beyond ambition,
Kalen replied.
Those of us who have conquered our limits know there is more to achieve than personal glory. Peace must be won through power. You think your fleeting strength can defy us?
Kalen didn't answer. His hand lifted, and a radiant circle of complex runes materialized, illuminating the dark skies above. Energy crackled as the circle expanded.
I do. And if you doubt me?
He brought his hand down. The ground trembled violently as pure force erupted from beneath the monsters, swallowing them whole. By the time the dust settled, nothing remained but silence.
Pity,
Kalen said softly.
You truly believed humanity was as weak as it once was.
But as he turned, the sky split apart. A single, vast eye emerged from the rift, unblinking and vast enough to shroud the heaven. Kalen instinctively shielded his face as a gust surged from the eye's gaze alone. His brows furrowed.
This presence, what are you?
A colossal figure coalesced beside him, its form barely constrained by the space it occupied. Its voice rumbled like an ancient storm.
I am the essence that binds existence. To mortals, I am known as the World Binder.
Kalen straightened, his eyes sharp.
I do not recognize the existence of God. Recognition is irrelevant. Your actions disrupt the foundations carefully woven over countless eons. I can no longer remain passive.
Kalen chuckled under his breath.
If order exists, why is the world in such disarray?
The World Binder's gaze bore down upon him.
Your strength may eclipse that of ordinary men, but even at your peak, you remain mortal. Nothing more.
Before Kalen could respond, two enormous hands of light emerged, locking around his body. His breath caught as the magic within him dissolved, scattering like ash. The World Binder's voice grew heavier.
To oppose the guardians of this world is the gravest sin. For your arrogance, you shall be cast into the endless abyss. In its depths, you will wander without answer, forever questioning your own existence.
Kalen struggled, but the light around him hardened like chains, dragging him into a swirling chasm beneath the ground. The last thing he saw was the unblinking eye, watching as the world above faded from his sight. In the present day, Fry Blake, the third son of the noble Blake family, was used to humiliation. No matter his name or status, it meant nothing to the ones who tormented him.
The great Blake family's third son, huh? Is this all the pocket money you got? Even beggars laugh at this.
David sneered, snatching the coins from Frey's hand.
You're pathetic, Fry. All that noble blood running through your veins, and still, you're the disgrace of the academy. Compared to your brothers, you're nothing but worthless trash. But you know what? I kind of like that about you. Not only are you the biggest disappointment to your family, but the dumbest student we've ever had. That takes some courage. Honestly, I'd be dead 1,000 times if I were you.
Before Fry could react, David's fist slammed into his face.
And yet, you're still alive.
Fry stumbled backward, only for David to grab his hair and shove him toward Jack. Jack's boot caught him square in the stomach, sending him to the ground with a thud. Fry coughed, curling up as the beating continued. To them, his pain was art. His broken body, their masterpiece. After what felt like an eternity, David stepped on his face, pressing his heel against Frey's cheek.
Tomorrow's magic practice. You're in my group, aren't you?
David chuckled darkly.
I'll take it easy on you. Real easy. So easy that by the end of it, you might not walk again.
He leaned down, whispering,
Get home safe, Fry. We'll play again tomorrow.
As they left him behind in the alley, Fry lay in silence, staring at the sky. His body trembled, not from pain, but from the burning words echoing in his mind. I want to be stronger. In the abyss of darkness, Lucas Trauman saw a flicker of light. Through the endless void, he heard a voice, someone yearning for power. Lucas searched for the source, but in this eternal prison, how could anyone else exist? He had been trapped here for what felt like millennia. Perhaps that voice was no one but himself, a desperate echo of his own desire. Lucas finally understood. Humans were insignificant. The gods' punishment was not death, but fear without end. Yet, unknown to Lucas, the voice was real. It belonged to a boy far in the future. Fry Blake limped home, bruised and battered, only to face more misfortune.
You are no longer my son.
Fry froze, staring at his father.
I cannot let you disgrace our family any longer. From this day forward, you're dead to me.
The words cut deeper than any fist. Weakness, it seemed, was an unforgivable sin. Frey's father walked away without a second glance. Once part of the Grand Blake mansion, Fry now lived in a crumbling attic. This final rejection crushed what little strength he had left. His body trembled. So this is death, Across the abyss, Lucas remained bound in his eternal punishment, unaware that his fate was about to shift. The daily torment never shook his resolve.
God? Order? Laws? Are you truly satisfied with this twisted world? I see it now. The true culprit behind this ugliness is demigod. I will endure this endless agony just to strike a decisive blow.
As Fry succumbed to his injuries, his final wish echoed through the void. Fresh blood spilled from his lips, marking his unwavering resolve. Far away in the bottomless abyss, Lucas saw light for the first time in what felt like eternity. It was no illusion. This boy's desperate plea had reached him.
I blame no one. A bird without wings is destined to fall. It's nature's way, the survival of the fittest. My failure was in my weakness. It's all my fault.
For the first time, Lucas saw another soul in the darkness, their pain binding them together in purpose. The boy didn't just bring light, he brought something far greater. Lucas felt it, a surge of warmth radiating through the bottomless abyss, chipping away at the seal placed by demigod. With every passing moment, the bonds that had confined him for 4 millennia began to unravel. For the first time in an eternity, Lucas stood in sunlight, its warmth unfamiliar yet invigorating. As the boy's consciousness intertwined with his own, their shared determination ignited a spark that neither could have achieved alone.
If I could be reborn,
the boy's voice echoed in his mind,
I'd burst through the earth with unstoppable force, stand atop the world, and soar with wings strong enough to carry me anywhere.
At that moment, Fry, long dead and broken, gasped awake. His eyes flew open, wide with disbelief. The dark, decrepit attic was no longer his prison. His battered body pulsed with power, and his surroundings hummed with new possibilities. For 1,000 years of torment had finally ended, and Lucas Trauman had returned. Fry Blake, once scorned as the weakest, and Lucas Trauman, hailed as the mightiest mage, now shared a single destiny.
From this moment on, you are me, and I will become you. You've granted me freedom, so let me grant you wings.
Fry opened the window, inhaling the crisp night air. For the first time in 4,000 years, Lucas could sense the world anew. The stars shone brighter, the world seemed larger, and freedom felt sweeter.
Demigod, the so-called god who dared imprison me for millennia, your reckoning is near. Prepare yourself. I'll shatter your lies and tear down your throne.
With newfound resolve, Fry ventured into the wilderness that night. The body he now inhabited was frail, incapable of wielding his immense power. But Lucas knew this was just the beginning of his return. His vengeance would reshape the world. The first step was clear: strengthen his body to handle the immense magical power required to face demigod. Fry knew that recovering his former strength alone wouldn't suffice. He needed to surpass it. This time, there could be no room for failure. Yet, patience was vital. After 4,000 years of torment, this second chance demanded meticulous preparation. He would build this body from the ground up, ensuring it could bear the power he once wielded. As night turned to dawn, Fry stood unmoving, immersed in his efforts. Then, suddenly, a surge of magical energy erupted from within him. In just one night, his body reached the 5-star realm, a feat that would take ordinary mages years to achieve. But victory came with pain. Fry spat out a mouthful of blood, the result of expelling the impurities his fragile body had accumulated over time. This was just the beginning of his transformation, the foundation for a strength that would one day challenge the gods themselves. For the first time in over a decade, David showed up to school on time. Today was a rare occasion, his sparring match with Fry. Opportunities to humiliate the third son of a noble family in front of everyone didn't come often.
I saw him at the infirmary yesterday getting sleeping pills. With that bear-like demeanor, could he actually have the courage? Let's bet 10-0 ticket.
Meanwhile, time passed as Fry finally stopped vomiting blood. He couldn't remember how long it had lasted, but the ground was stained with the expelled toxins. Fortunately, it was finally over.
Looks like you've had your fair share of troubles,
he muttered to himself. Feeling hungry, Fry made his way to the academy cafeteria. Fry gorged himself on the food before him. Despite living for thousands of years, the thought of attending school with these little brats was unappealing. However, his knowledge alone couldn't fill a 4,000-year gap. He needed to understand the current world first. Only then could he seek revenge on demigod. After calming his mood, Fry walked into the classroom, attempting to blend in like a normal student. The moment he appeared, all eyes turned to him.
This loser? He couldn't even pull off a proper suicide. Great, now you owe me 10-0 ticket.
Fry had no idea what they were talking about, but then he noticed David deliberately sticking his foot out in his path.
Bye, dear Fry. I thought you wouldn't show up today.
Almost simultaneously, Jack came up behind him.
Give me 10-0 ticket.
Since you made me lose the bet, you're responsible for the compensation.
Jack sneered. Though they pretended to be Frey's friends, their eyes revealed their true intentions. Frey's body trembled involuntarily, not out of fear, but as a reflex buried deep in his instinct. As Fry pondered this, Jack raised his right hand high, aiming to strike him. But to everyone's shock, the slap missed entirely. Jack stood there in disbelief, unsure of what had just happened. Fry, however, realized something. The bullying these people inflicted had driven this body's owner to give up on life.
You're quick today. I didn't expect that, Jack said mockingly. Since you like dodging so much,
I'll give you plenty of it. A flash of light flickered over Frey's left hand. In the next instant, Jack was sent flying across the room, crashing at the far end. All eyes turned to the unconscious Jack lying on the floor. Jack had already lost consciousness, sprawled on the floor. No one had seen what happened. The one who initiated the attack was now defeated in an instant. Yet, Fry felt no satisfaction, only a lingering guilt for striking down a mere brat. Without a word, he calmly walked to his seat, ignoring the stunned gazes of his classmates. David remained frozen in disbelief, struggling to comprehend what had just happened. How had Fry, of all people, done that? And how had he gained such strength? Just then, Professor Dio entered the classroom, ready to begin the lesson, only to stop abruptly at the sight of Jack lying unconscious by the wall.